Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a prepping video. It's not going to be a cooking video because I'm actually going to be cooking this at a later time on a different date. I wanted to just show you how I prepare, Evelyn and I, one of our favorite dishes. It's the sweet carne asada. And the recipe was actually taken from Sam the cooking guy. I watch him a lot. He's a genius when it comes to cooking things. I've made a lot of different dishes that he has showcased on his channel, and they turned out perfectly. This one, I would like to call it accidental sweet carne asada, just because I couldn't add in one ingredient that he added into his main recipe, and that ingredient was cumin. So I didn't have any cumin on hand, but I added everything else. And when I cooked everything, and when we ate, when we ate the meat, it had um, basically a very sweet taste to it. Nothing like candy wise, but you just have to really try it for yourself. It's basically now Evelyn and I's favorite carne asada dish, and it's very easy to kind of put together. So first things first, we have the flat meat. I got this from Stater Brothers, and what I'm doing is I'm actually going to be cutting. Well, I cut these into smaller sizes, just because I cook this on a pan. I don't have a grill available, so I'm cutting them down. I'm also removing this layer of membrane here. And what it is that if you, well, what I know is that when you cook this with it on and everything and you don't remove it, it's very chewy. So what ends up happening is that you have a really delicious piece of meat, but you're chewing on it forever because of the membrane that's on here. If you get right underneath it, you can just rip it off. You might lose a little bit of meat over, the ripping process, but I think it's worth it just because as good as the meat is, that chewy part kind of takes away from everything. So I just cut it right off, or if I can, I'll just rip it right off and just kind of toss it away. You don't need that. It's actually not fat. I didn't really cut off too much of the fat of the meat itself. That part right there would be the chewy bits, like this one. I totally missed that. So let's cut this right off. And I'm using approximately a little bit over 2 pounds of meat, so give or take. So measurements are approximate here. Nothing is very measured to the T, but I measured it out anyways, just because I don't have a full general knowledge of how much to use. However, this is kind of what I'm doing right now. Okay, so first we're going to make the marinade. We have a little bit of a mixing bowl here. Just going to add in, this is about half a bowl of a very finely chopped garlic. So that goes in, and then we have about 3/4 of a bushel of cilantro, also very finely chopped. You can use a full bushel, you can use half. That's all up to you. Cilantro's in. This is 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. It's not packed, so it's kind of loose. You can definitely use a little bit more than that if you want to. We have half a cup of olive oil. Okay. And then I have 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And yes, soy sauce is used in this marinade. Again, this turned out pretty well. We have about a teaspoon of salt and pepper, give or take. Okay. And the recipe normally calls for the zest and the juice of 1 lime. I don't have that. So what I'm using is lime juice from concentrate. And you normally would add about 2 teaspoons or so. Okay, I'm actually going to add 3 teaspoons. Okay. And then that's it. This is the marinade. Gonna mix this up. Again, I'm not adding the cumin, and I'll be linking the recipe to Sam's recipe, to his channel, in the description below. So we're just going to toss in the meat. Just going to make sure everything gets in there as best as possible. For the marinade, everything gets coated as evenly as possible. You don't need a lot of marinade for this much amount of meat, just because everything here will absorb all of the flavors very nicely as long as it's just coated. This goes great with tacos. This goes great with burritos. This goes great with almost anything, actually. Carne Asada, you can't go wrong with Carne Asada as your primary meat. You can use it in every dish. Doesn't matter if you're cooking Asian food, Asian with rice, or you're cooking Mexican food with tortillas or anything. It works out so well. It pairs very well with a onion, cilantro relish. Very easy to make as well. You can definitely look that up. It's basically diced onions. It's chopped cilantro, juice of 1 lime, and salt to taste. And you mix it. Once you feel like you're comfortable with the flavor, refrigerate it, and whenever you're ready to use it, it's good to go. Put the topping on the carne asada, and you have yourself a terrific meal. Okay, so I'm gonna let this sit in the fridge for a few hours, anywhere between, you need to do at least 1 to possibly 4 hours, I would say. Then after that, I'm gonna vacuum seal it, freeze it and everything, because I'm gonna be cooking this for a later day. But again, recommended definitely to try it out. It's super tasty, super delicious. And if you happen to try this recipe, please leave a comment below. Let me know how it goes. And until next time, stay tuned. Thanks again for watching.